you have leverage. If you don't, you're pinned, right? So you're going to see that the concepts consistent across, like, you could be in any position. Whoever has inside control is doing better. Non-perishable skill, you know this now. If you don't do this for 10, 20 years, and someone pushes you, you can do this, right? It's not, you just have to remember it. So go into your stance, your hands come inside. It doesn't have to be super accurate, just inside, you can get the chaos, somebody shoving you, put your hands inside, stop them, and then you can decide what you want to do, all right? Okay, so you're a little repetitive. You have alignment, you understand stance, right? You understand movement, and now you understand distance, awareness with the vision, and where you want to position your limbs. If you can't get behind, right? This is default. And again, someone just, we're going to do it coming up, they lunge at you, you're not going to just magically get behind the guy. You're going to, most of the time, be in front of the guy. So you got to start with inside control, right? So you understand what to do. You can feel there. Even if you got that, you just shut the guy and run, you want to fight, right? You still, right? So one more concept, then we'll take a few minutes to get a drink of water. The techniques that work are the same in every venue. MMA, like I said, when MMA took off, it did more to promote realistic martial arts in 3 years than the previous 1,000 years, in my opinion. Things were going downhill a lot of the time. Why? Because the guys were really fun. And the people who, so MMA is kind of sad in the beginning, right? It was style against style. It was like the Karate Guy versus the Jew. Within just a few years, it morphed into MMA. Everyone has to do the same things. You have to have boxing. Boxing is primary. You have to learn boxing. You have to have some wrestling or judo skill. You have to have some Brazilian jiu-jitsu skill on the ground. And you can add in some Muay Thai, maybe a little, something else. What do all those have in common? They're sports. Why? Sport people actually fight each other. All those deadly guys that had the Krav Maga guy got knocked out in like 15 seconds because they don't do it against pressure. They might have been okay in basic self-defense, but when you're fighting a guy, you can fight. None of that really worked that well. Or, in my opinion, they knew the correct techniques. They didn't know which ones to apply. The Rolodex was off, right? Sport fighters knew in that venue exactly what worked because that's what they do. So it doesn't mean it has to be sport. It means that they understood which techniques really worked in that venue, and they've done them under pressure, probably thousands of hours. So the techniques that work will work in, the ones that work, the ones that work. You have to select your technical repertoire depending on the venue, right? An MMA fight is, I need to submit you, you have to tap. I need to beat you until you can't fight anymore, or I need to knock you unconscious. A street fight is none of the above. A street fight is you have to get away without getting hurt, or as little damage as possible. So the goal of sport fighting, whatever capacity, is to win. The goal of the street fight is to escape. Completely different ideas. The techniques that work in both venues, but I'm going to choose the technique from that repertoire depending on my goal. If we're in a cage, pushing you away is ridiculous. You'll just come back over and over. In a street fight, it's fantastic. I get space to run, or you crash into a car, and you're stunned, and I get away, right? So, is pushing a good technique? It depends where you use it, right? Sacrifice throws. If I have to go to the ground with you and make you tap, like jiu-jitsu, I want to throw you and hang on, so I land on you in a superior position. That's not a good idea in most fights, if anyone else is around. I'm on the ground now, but now I'm on the ground. I'm immobile, maybe it's friends, maybe he grabs his knife. I want to throw you down and stay on my feet and run away, right? So I choose stand-up throws. So do sacrifice throws work? Absolutely. Are they great throws in a sport fight? Are they great in the street? Not usually. You know what I mean? So almost every real martial art, all sports, you have techniques that work, but you got to choose the right ones. So that's the kind of next thing we're going to talk about. Like, you guys have all the martial arts or whatever. I feel like a lot of those guys that got their ass kicked in the UFCs, maybe they haven't pressure tested. I think they were trying to do the wrong thing. They were trying to self-defense their way in a cage fight, and they got beat up. That's not how it goes, right? So we need to understand what techniques we want to choose with the goal of escaping. Now, there's exceptions. If you're with your wife and kids or whatever, now you have to protect, and everyone has to escape. It escalates the danger. thing, but that's a given, we know that. But still, the whole idea is, you know, not like you're trying to beat the guy, like, come on, honey, and you know, let's kick this guy's out, you're gonna try to get away, right? But you can't just run because you can't leave your family. Of course, you know, these things are self-evident, but still, the goal is to escape. You want to get away, right? And that demands like a certain selection of technique, and that will come next. Okay? All right, guys, take just 5 minutes to get a drink of water.